Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello. Happy Friday. Happy September 8th. I hope you all are doing having such a great day and doing such a great job with how you walk through your day. My name is Janie Crick. I'm going to be leading a meditation today on self-love and what it means to set boundaries as a form of self-love. Tuning into the energy this morning and setting intentions with my prayers with these spirit guides that come around and give me all this guidance, whether or not I always take it. The reminder today was to tune into meditation and prayer, to find space. Self-love can be a challenging practice sometimes, because it is a very active practice where you're stepping into a place of empowerment within yourself and setting boundaries, and also being authentic with yourself, stripping down all the things that other people think that you should be doing, all the societal views of how you should be doing things, and stepping into your true authentic perspective and practice on how you want to live your life. So this morning, we're going to be doing a meditation on setting boundaries within self-love. So why are we talking about self-love? Why is this so important? Sometimes as an empath, it's easy to see and feel and experience those around us on a very intimate and deep level. I personally, being an empath, really see when other people are having trouble, and initially, automatically, I want to help. I want to help that other person and really make sure that they're not by themselves. But with that comes an opportunity for discernment and boundaries that we hold with other people. So I've walked down this path of self-love and have been given an opportunity to actually step in and help other people when I see they need help. And sometimes they don't even ask for it. So this is where we get into the tricky part, because they're always appreciative of this help, but they haven't asked for it. And so the continued volunteering of my time and energy towards a situation that hasn't necessarily asked for it can lead and have led me personally into situations of enabling people and causing codependent dynamics with people. So there's a large lesson of volunteering your time and energy without it being asked for, and then kind of setting a guideline for how people expect and ask for your energy. For me, self-love is a multi-dimensional subject with many physical, emotional, and spiritual layers. And it's important to remember that while you're stepping into self-love, that things around you are going to shift. And that's why we do it. One of the first and most important steps to self-love practice is defining boundaries with yourself and sticking to them. So what does it mean to define a boundary? So I had an acting teacher once assign a homework exercise where we would go home every night and write down 10 things that we absolutely loved. I love it when people hold the door for me. And I love it when I'm walking down the street and someone smiles at me. And I love it when I come home and my whole house is clean and I can just go into my room and close the door. I love that. And then after we would write down 10 things that we loved, we absolutely loved, we would write down 10 things that we did not like. I do not like it when people cut me off when I'm talking. I do not like it when people cut me off when I'm driving. I do not like it when people make assumptions about me. And we would go through all of these 10 things once we got to class the next day. We did this every week before we entered into very intense scene work with another partner. The scene work that we did required us to develop an opinion about the other person, and then to deliver it with authenticity and conviction. And then the scene partner would receive the opinion that we had about them and repeat it back to you. And it would go back and forth until that person, through the exchange, developed an opinion about you. And they would say it, and it would go back and forth. So what does this mean? This acting technique was developed by Sanford Meisner and has been used in hundreds of classrooms to teach performers how to feel and how to respond. It taught performers how to move away from their tendencies to act, to say things that they think the other person might like to hear, or that the audience might like to hear, and to genuinely form an opinion about how you actually felt about that certain situation, and to authentically respond. So with that, setting boundaries is similar. Just like deciding the things that you love and deciding the things that you don't love. While we aren't going around and just telling people how we feel about them, don't do that. Please don't go around and tell people your opinions unless you're wanting to share light and love. But we are deciding how we feel about ourselves. And we are deciding how we treat ourselves. And we are deciding how we allow others to treat us. So it all starts with you. And it's not about saying, I don't like the way you treat me. You're wrong. It's about saying, I don't even treat myself this way, so I'm not going to allow you to treat me this way either. Setting boundaries on how other people treat you, how they talk to you, how they respond to you. It's a really powerful form of self-love because it's giving you an opportunity to see the standard that you hold for yourself. So what does this look like? There's direct communication. So if someone is doing something that doesn't align with your highest self, then there's an opportunity to directly communicate with them. Hi, I didn't really appreciate the way you treated me that way. I don't treat myself this way. And I'm trying to understand where you're coming from when you decided that that was okay. Direct communication. It's important when we do direct communication to always come from a place of compassion. Now, that's where we step into, how people kind of say, telling it like it is. Well, I tell it like it is, and I speak my truth, and all this other stuff, which is good to an extent, but the people who tell it like it is are lacking the compassion, where they understand that the words that we say have an effect on other people too. So not steering away from your authenticity, but to find words and to find connecting points with the other person to directly make what you are actually trying to say come across, as opposed to muddling in other feelings, other opinions, other triggers that you might have, and truly stepping into direct communication. Direct action is the next one. So setting boundaries with direct action. So if something is physically coming towards you or happening to you, to physically decide, no, actually, this is where I set my boundary physically, and I'm not going to partake in this. To then directly communicate that aloud, but physically show. And then there's also direct inaction. So there is power in silence. There is power in inaction. And what that can look like is if you're ever in a situation where maybe you're on a break with a bunch of coworkers and they are just gossiping. They're just laying out the gossip and really just like going home about it, maybe talking about things that are a bit superficial to you, that don't align with you. Now, it doesn't matter if, what I'm trying to say is that if it aligns with them, let it align with them. But if it doesn't align with you, you have the opportunity to take direct inaction by just walking away. If it's something that they're saying that you feel like is not in alignment, or is or that other person that's being talked about doesn't have an ally or someone to stand up for them, direct communication can come in, where you say, you know what, I actually don't like the way you're talking about this person, so I'm just going to excuse myself from the conversation. compassionately. You don't have to be like, yo, back up, just that isn't speaking into any sort of authenticity or loving space. So that's how we honor the boundaries of ourselves. How do we honor the boundaries of other people? I learned this from being in ecstatic dance, where the entire parameter of this evening and this event is around setting healthy boundaries for others and yourself. And one of the biggest invitations of ecstatic dance is to ask first. And this can go into any and every form of your life. Ask first. If you don't know, ask first. If you know, ask first. Every person has shifts in their life. So something that may have been okay for you to do or say to a person at one point or another, maybe 10 days ago, may not be in alignment with them today. So always ask, hey, would it be okay if I shared a story with you? Or, hey, I'm really processing. I know I want to respect your time, but I was wondering if you had a moment where I could share this with you, to honor the person's boundaries and give them an opportunity to say whether or not that's in alignment with them. Don't assume. Never assume. My dad always says, don't assume, or you'll end up making an ass out of you or me. And while I don't necessarily agree with that, I think that there is a lot to be learned from taking assumptions out of interactions. And this can particularly go for and with people that you've had relationships with for a long time, where you have developed this trust with them, where you have developed this understanding, and you know them, you know them like the back of your hand, and you've been with them for years, you know how they act, but that kind of takes away the possibility of growth, the possibility of development. And so the do unto others as you would have them do unto you. There's two parts of that. Don't always assume that everyone wants what you want, but also if you want people to respect your boundaries, respect other people's boundaries. The way you treat others is a huge indicator, and is actually the indicator as to how you give permission to people on how they treat you. These are just little tips. These are things that I've kind of come up with that have really shaped the idea of what it means to have self-love through boundaries. And we'll get into the meditation in a little bit, but I kind of wanted to give you an idea of where I was coming from and why this is such an important thing for me right now. As far as, and then continuing with the boundaries of other people, is that once a boundary has been stated, once you've been told by the other person that they don't like to be treated this way, or they prefer it if you just maybe steer away from certain conversations, to honor that. Once they've told you, you know it. Now honor it. And then decide what that means for you. So there are some major questions in self-love. The 3 questions that I always go back to with self-love is 1. Does this align with my higher self? When I tune into myself, when I close my eyes and feel what I need to feel, removing the 3D aspect of desire, want, anything like that, and then stepping into what my higher self truly needs in that moment, you can decide whether or not this aligns with your higher self or not. It's a good question to ask yourself. Does this align with my higher self? Is this going to serve me in the future, or is this going to cause more complications and a rippling effect of things that I'm just going to have to continue to deal with? Secondly, does this cause harm to myself or to anyone around me? And that kind of goes into hand in hand with does this align with my higher self? But there's a stronger responsibility that we have with our words, and there's a stronger responsibility that we have with our actions. And if it has any harm on anyone else, any other animal, the planet, then you're setting a tone. You're setting a tone for how people can treat you by how you treat others and how you treat the planet and how you treat situations and communities and all sorts of things. You're setting the tone. And then finally, when speaking my truth, am I starting from a place of compassion? And that goes back into what we were saying. Am I speaking from a place of compassion? Or am I speaking from a place of ego? Am I speaking from a place of being triggered? We all know those situations where someone says something and you're just like, actually, and the words come out of your mouth before you can even process whether this is in alignment with your higher self, and before you can even process as if this is going to be harmful to other people. We know it, we feel it, and that's that inner will that's coming out, that's not allowing the ego to settle into what is actually happening. There's a lot of subtext that happens between us humans, and it's beneath the layers of our actual context. So these are just tips on setting healthy boundaries, on displaying how you treat yourself to others so they know how to treat you. You set the greatest example for that. And then also how you treat others around their boundaries. And then remembering that there are ways to do that with direct communication, direct action, indirect action. So why don't we go ahead with all of this being said and get into a nice meditative space to really harness and step into our power. And if you at any time, maybe after this, have any questions that come up, you can leave them in the comment section, and we can go over them here on the video, or I can send you a message later if you're tuning in to this later, because I really want to make this accessible to people. This is information that everyone needs to know. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into a nice meditative space. So, let's go ahead and get settled where we are. Let's plant our feet firmly on the ground. If you are en route, perfect. Find a centered place. If you are at home, find a centered place. And then let's go ahead and get into it. So let's go ahead and do 3 clearing breaths, filling the lungs all the way up. And exhale. Deep inhale, filling up the lungs all the way. And exhale. Final breath, filling up the lungs all the way as slowly as you can. Holding at the top. And then as slowly as you can, exhaling all the breath out of your lungs. I call in Merlin and Hari Baba to aid me in creating a vortex in this space. I create this sacred vortex centered here. I ask permission of Lady Gaia, Mother Earth, to ground this vortex into the center of the earth, to the Mother's heart. I ground this vortex now. I raise this vortex all the way up to Mother, Father, God, Source, to Spirit, to Divine Light, to our star brothers and sisters and family. I widen this vortex to contain the entirety of my space, and in doing this, creating this vortex around others who ask and who have permission and give themselves permission to be in this space. I create this vortex around them as well. I create a direct line between myself through this technological device to be a clear vessel, so that those who are open to receiving this information, they receive it. I raise the vibration up to just below the speed of physical light. Any energies lower than the Mahatma love without condition that are in this space, in this vortex, in this moment, that are lower than that vibration will clear now. No energies lower than the Mahatma love without condition are allowed into this sacred space. And then any energies lower than the Mahatma love without condition that are released during this meditation will move forth to their furthest form of transmutation in accordance with the divine will. I am that I am, the Mahatma in love. It is my intention to be free from picking up any energies lower than the Mahatma love without condition during this session. I call in the angels to place a circle of protection around each and every one of us, to allow only that which is the highest love and integrity to enter. Feeling this energy and knowing that you are protected. Let's take another 3 breaths. And as we breathe, let's really fill up our lungs with that knowing of protection and love from all of our masters, all of our the ascended masters, all of the angels, all of those spirits and ancestors that are looking out for us, the guides, the guardians. Let us breathe that in, that knowing in. And then as we exhale, let us release anything, any fear that makes us think that we aren't protected. Anything from this week that we may have picked up from a weird exchange with someone that wasn't in alignment with you, but you had to deal with it, from an uncomfortable situation, from someone else putting their energy on you. When we exhale, we release that. So we inhale our knowing and our peace, and we exhale anything that deters us from knowing that. So again, those 3 full inhales, holding at the top, and then 3 full exhales. And as you exhale, release all of the breath. Let's begin. Full breath in. Knowing you are protected, and hold in on the top. And then exhale. Anything that doesn't serve you, release. Inhale, filling up the lungs all the way. Exhale, release. Last one, full breath in as slow as you can. Exhaling all the breath out of the lungs. Now, with this, I invite you to draw attention to your surroundings through your listening. Your eyes may be shut here if you're walking somewhere. Do this awareness with your eyes open. Or if you're seated and you're at home and you want to practice drawing awareness while you have your eyes open, I invite that now. But really tuning into your surroundings in this moment. What do you hear from your left side, from your right side? Maybe you hear something above you. Maybe you hear something below you, in front of you, and then behind you. Drawing attention to the sounds that surround you. And gently breathing into that. Just getting acclimated. Tuning into this moment. Beginning to slow down. Maybe you hear someone walking. Maybe you hear a car driving by outside. Maybe you hear crickets, an airplane, someone walking above or below you, the fax machine. Whatever you hear, tuning into this very moment. And now that you are completely acclimated to where you actually are in this space, in this dimension, draw your focus inward to hearing your own breath. Hearing the breath fill up your lungs, providing you with that oxygen to nourish your blood and give you life. And hearing the exhale as it prepares you to start that process over. And as you continue to listen, maybe, just maybe, you can hear your own heartbeat. Reminding you of this miracle, of this beauty, of this life, of this soul that is inside of this vessel. Holding gratitude for that. So I want you to imagine that there is a nice pitcher of water, mother's water, hovering right above your crown chakra. And this water is the most crystal clear and pure water. And we charge this water to the highest vibration of cleansing. And it's hovering right above our crown chakra. And let's go ahead and decide a temperature that this water is. Maybe it's nice and fresh and crisp and kind of cool. Maybe it's a warm water. And now that we've decided what the temperature is of this beautifully charged water is, it begins to tilt to one side, pouring over your crown chakra. Pouring over your face, pouring down the sides of your head, covering you, feeling its warmth, or feeling the crisp, refreshing water. And it pours down the front of your body, and it pours down the sides of your body, covering every inch of your body with this high vibration water, the mother's water. And it rolls down your back, down your spine, covering each and every vertebrae. And it rolls down over the hips and the belly, the groin, down over the thighs. It rolls and rolls and rolls down your body as it continues to pour over your head. And it rolls down over your knees, and your shins, and your calves, and the backs of your knees, down to your ankles, and the tops of your feet, between the toes, over the heel to the bottoms of the feet, until finally it has covered every inch of your body and slowly begins to roll off of your body. And as it rolls off of your body, you imagine Mother Earth directly below your feet, and it is rolling and absorbing into the Mother, taking with it any energies that do not belong to you, that no longer serve you, and that are not of the highest vibration. It clears and cleanses anything from your week that you do not want to take into your weekend, and it absorbs into Mother Earth. Mother Earth takes this energy, takes this water, and transmutes it, clears it. You no longer have to worry about those things anymore. So now the pitcher of water has completed its pouring, and the water is now rolling off of your body into the earth, leaving this fresh, cleansed vessel where you feel like your best and highest self. Let's take a deep breath into this. drawing attention to your root chakra, which is located in the center of the pelvic floor, the base of your spine. It's a nice red root color. And this is our security, our groundedness. Such an important piece in self-love, to feel stable in ourselves, to give ourselves the time to really tune in and ground. When we're feeling all over the place, when things are hectic and you're running 100 miles an hour and there are just so many things to do on the checklist and you're getting all flustered, root chakra, whoosh, root down into this red root chakra as a form of grounding, as a form of self-love, as a form of setting a boundary within yourself to say, okay, it's great that all the things that are happening, but I'm going to ground this energy so I'm not overwhelmed. I'm going to take a minute to be with myself, to ground this energy. And you can do this at any point in your day. Tuning into that red root chakra, we imagine that there is a cord, a rope, a tail that drops from this root chakra down to the center of the earth. And we ask permission of Mother Earth, Lady Gaia, to connect our cords to this center. And then we connect our cord, physically attaching us like a little balloon string, so we don't just float away. And this root chakra cord connects us down, and we are now attached to Mother Earth once again. Not that we ever left, but it's good to draw attention to it. And we take a deep breath in from the mother into our root chakra. Deep inhale. And we harness it here with the exhale. I am grounded. I am stable. I am secure. I am supported in my red root chakra. And then drawing attention to the sacral chakra, which is located just below the belly button, over the reproductive sexual organs. Such a place of healing in our society today. A place where we can redefine how we see ourselves as sexual beings, as individual genders, as individual sexes, as reproductive beings, as sensual beings. This orange sacral chakra is also the center of our creativity. So let's take a deep breath in from the mother, coming up through the root chakra into the sacral chakra to reignite our creativity. Deep inhale, filling up the lungs all the way, pulling that energy up, and then harnessing it here. I am the one who is in charge of my creative energy, of my sexual energy. And I set boundaries, clear boundaries, compassionate boundaries with those around me. And I lead by example, by treating myself with my highest and most loving way as an example, so that others may see how I treat myself and then treat me that way as well. Tuning into the solar plexus, the ego, the drive, the responsibility, our personality, our will. And we breathe in from the mother, breathing up through the root chakra, breathing up through the sacral chakra, into the solar plexus, igniting that yellow light of drive, of confidence, of independence, and we harness that yellow light right in the center of our body, breathing in. Balancing our self-esteem. If our self-esteem is low, we build it up. If our self-esteem is a little too high and a little too cocky, we mellow it out. Defining for ourselves how we want to present ourselves in this world and how we want to take care of ourselves just with ourselves. You know, tuning into the solar plexus energy, something that's coming through really strongly right now is that, yes, this has been a huge time of purging. We have released a lot already. We have gotten rid of things in our lives that don't serve us. We have switched jobs. We have switched friends. We have decided for ourselves in this massive purge what doesn't serve us. And this stands true with moving into the fall season of just releasing that which does not serve us. But what can sometimes happen in the solar plexus is that when we're removing things and we're getting rid of things and we're allowing the things that don't serve us to be gone, that sometimes there can feel like a huge void. It's like when we have this huge house and we have all this stuff that we need to get rid of, and then we get rid of it all and we're like, wait, where's all my stuff? Wait, it just feels empty now. But the message that's coming through is that now that you have done the work and that you've gotten rid of all the things that don't serve you and you've purged and you've shifted your own energy, that you now have so much more space within your solar plexus, within your being, that you can fill it now with the things that you do want in your life. Good work. You've done the work. You have filled yourself. You've honored yourself, and now you can fill yourself. Good work. So let's take a deep breath in, again, from that Mother Earth, coming up through the root chakra, the sacral chakra, into the solar plexus, filling ourselves with everything that we want to manifest in our lives in a most balanced way. Deep breath. And exhale. Good. Now tuning into the heart. Oh, this heart. This beautiful heart. Our gratitude center. Thank you, heart. Breathing in from the mother, up through the root chakra, up through the sacral chakra, up through the solar plexus, into the heart, filling the heart, expanding the heart, opening the heart. And staying with this energy. I understand that when I take care of myself, when I do the things that I know I need to do with myself to remain at a homeostasis, high vibration, that when I take time to do that for myself, then I am such a clear vessel that when I walk through my day at this balance, I can be my highest self around anyone, around any situation. But ultimately, the first thing that we have to do is check in with ourselves, with our heart, and honor that. And in doing that and honoring yourself, you are honoring every person around you. You are setting an example of how you treat yourself and showing others that maybe they could treat themselves in a new, more high vibrational way. So we ignite the compassion of the heart. We fill it. We send it gratitude. Tuning in now to the throat chakra, located just at the base of the neck, at the front of the body. We breathe in from Mother Earth, from our cord, up through the root chakra, into the sacral chakra, into the solar plexus, into the heart, and then beaming into the throat chakra. Knowing that we have empowerment in this throat chakra, that we can communicate effectively. We can have direct communication. We can have direct action, and we can do direct inaction. We can feel confident about how we feel about ourselves, how we treat ourselves, and then feel confident to share that with others so that they can honor that too. Tuning into that throat chakra. Inviting the compassion of the heart to affect this, to not just feel like we have to tell it like it is, but to bring that heart chakra up to the throat chakra so that we can speak from compassion with clarity and light and love and truth. This is also a creative center where we can creatively express our truth with anyone. And the dynamics change from person to person. The way that we talk to our best friend is not the way that we talk to our partner. It's different. There's a sensory that we bring in. The way that we talk to our partner is not the way that we talk to our mother, and that's great. That's why it's there. That's why these relationships exist. But the importance is that you feel confident and empowered to be able to speak your truth no matter the situation, no matter the person, and that you can invite that heart energy up into the throat chakra to have compassion with your words. Now tuning into the third eye, drawing that energy up from Mother Earth into the root, sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, now into the third eye, opening ourselves up to source to receive all that is in alignment with our soul, our path, our soul's journey, our divine path, to receive the messages, to receive the understanding, the intuition, and to clear any clouds that may corrupt our judgment, but to come from a divine high self place. This is where we tune into our highest self. Tune into your highest self in this moment, breathing into that third eye, tuning into that high self. We ask Spirit to help us to see and listen to our highest self. That question that we say, does this align with my higher self? This is where we tune in, the third eye. There is no ego with a higher self. There is divine light. Sending gratitude to the third eye chakra. We breathe into it. We exhale. And then finally, drawing in from the root chakra, up into the sacral, up into the solar plexus, up into the heart, the throat, the third eye, feeling so aligned with all of these 6 chakras until we finally get into the crown chakra and we open our crown. Whew. Knowing that we are connected to this universal light, to this source energy, to all of our masters, our ascended masters, our guides, our guardians, our angels, our ancestors, to all of time, to all of the spirits that are here to watch out for us, to take care of us, that we can tune into this energy, to this frequency, and feel so in alignment and so supported. And that's just on a spiritual level, let alone the support that we have from those around us. But when we can trust in the support that we have from Source, from Spirit, Spirit will send us people to support us on this plane. So we unfurl our lotus on the top of our head and we open ourselves up, connecting us now all the way up. And connecting us down, down, down to the center of the earth. We now pull this energy, if you want to use your hands, pulling from the ground, pulling from the sky, and we bring this energy in to the center, to the center, to the center. And we hold this energy into a nice ball of light in front of us. And then we place it into our being. And then we do it again. We pull it in from above and below, pulling that center in. Breathe, breathe, breathe into the center of your being. And we give it back to the sky. Thank you, thank you, thank you. To all the spirits and the guides. And they pull our energy in. And we send it to the mother, to the earth, thanking her. Down, down, down. And we bring that energy in, pulling it in again. And we send it out. Sending it to all the beautiful people. And finally, for the last part of this meditation, if there has been any feelings or residual effects that someone has given you this week, that someone has given to you that you have not given them permission to, where they have implanted in you a projection of their own life path healing, if there's any projection from another person that comes to you or that has been attached to you, I invite you to give it back to them. That is their work. Give it back to them. I love you, I love you, I love you. This is not mine. I give it back to you because it's not my job to work on that. It's your job. And then anything that they have taken from you in that moment, we bring it in. This is mine. I gave you my power in that moment, but I'm taking it back. And you can do that around any situation, around bosses, previous partners that you have given a lot to, that you want to give back or take back your energy. Or if they've given you something that it's not yours to deal with, you can give it back to them so they can continue to deal with it. So there seems to be a throat chakra blockage. All right, so let's get into some healing of the throat chakra. Let's tune into this throat chakra. Let's take a deep breath into this throat chakra. I call on Archangel Michael to cut any blockages of the throat chakra. And we ignite this throat chakra, illuminating this blue light right here, base of our neck. And let's take 3 inhales, and on the exhale, let's hum, let's make a noise, let's emote some sort of sound to ignite the vocal fold. So let's take a deep breath into this throat chakra, and exhale on a sound. Ha. Good. Deep inhale into the throat chakra. Raise the pitch. Ha. Good. One more deep inhale into this throat chakra, igniting the force that is in you, igniting that communication, igniting that self-love, igniting that creativity. Deep inhale into that throat chakra. Higher tone. Good. Get weird with it. Ignite it. Maybe that will help release some of the blockages. And if there's ever a time where you feel like you have a blockage in your throat chakra, tune into if this is your higher self protecting you. Tune into if this is an external energy blocking you, inhibiting you. And then take into action and responsibility how you want your throat chakra to be. So next week, we will be tuning into a mirror meditation. So if you have a mirror that you can bring to next Friday's meditation, I invite you to bring it. It can be a small handheld mirror. If you want to do this meditation in the bathroom, we can do it there. But the next week is going to be all about seeing yourself. And there's a lot of powerful and beautiful work that we can do in front of the mirror that can go beyond a lot of what we know about the mirror. A lot of what we know about how we judge ourselves and how we see ourselves. And there's a lot of beautiful work to heal in the mirror and actually seeing ourselves. So that's what we will be doing next week, the mirror meditation. I'm going to be doing a card reading every every Wednesday, or not every Wednesday, every Friday during our meditations from Melody Beatty, The Language of Letting Go. So let's go ahead and get our card. I clear myself of any energy. I clear this deck of any energy, and I invite the purest meditation to leave this meditation so that people can take it with them. All right, this one is the one that popped out. Taking risks. Today, I will ask the universe to help me begin to take healthy risks in my life. I will ask for assistance in letting go of my fear of failure and my fear of success. I will ask for help in fully living my life so that I can start experiencing all of the wonderful parts of my journey. Well, that's a beautiful message for today, taking risks. So thank you all so much for sharing your energy today, and thank you for allowing me to share this with you all. Thank you for this platform. If you feel so inclined to share this with someone else, if you think this message will speak to someone else, one of your friends, I invite you to share this video. If you have any questions that you would like to reach out to me for, please feel free to drop me an individual personal message. But I love you all so dearly. Happy Friday. Take care of yourselves and move into a joyous, relaxing weekend. I love you all so much. Take care.